Have you ever been super stressed out and you want to play a game, but you're so stressed you can't even bring yourself to choose one? Never fear, I'm here with a list of 10 cozy games to play when you're stressed that are perfect for those moments. Number 10, Minecraft. If you've never played Minecraft before, which is seriously alarming because if you're a cozy gamer, where have you been the last 14 years since its release? And yes, saying that out loud did make me feel incredibly old, but allow me to introduce you to the wonderful world of Minecraft. Minecraft is an open sandbox game with unlimited space and choices for what you could do. You could build a house, a farm, recreate real-life buildings, or even real-life items like some players have. Or you could just resource gather and mine to your heart's content, or set up automatic redstone farms so you never have to gather resources again. You can automate everything in Minecraft if you want to, and there's tons of tutorials and blueprints out there too if you don't feel like coming up with something and you just want to build. You don't even have to play in survival mode, aka the original Minecraft experience. You could go full cozy mode and play in creative mode and just test out designs, or even get a little adventurous, pun intended, with adventure mode. If you're feeling particularly chaotic from all the stress and want a more difficult outlet, you could play hardcore, maybe even add some extra rules, like you can't eat anything you don't grow, or limit yourself to all stone tools and leather armor. There's so much you could do within the world of a Minecraft game, and it can be the perfect way to de-stress. Unless, of course, you don't like having unlimited options when you're stressed and you prefer following clear steps, in which case, number 9 might be a little bit more your speed. Number 9, Hoko Life. You probably haven't ever heard of Hoko Life before, but if you've heard of Animal Crossing, especially New Horizons, or even played it before, then this game is basically the PC version of it. It features cute and cozy gameplay and NPCs that are sure to get you hooked on playing this game within the first 30 minutes. My main reason for it being on this list is because it is the PC version of AC&H, and that alone warrants it a placement on this list, and also because the plot is just fast moving enough to keep you interested but slow enough to not feel stressful. Which is great because there is nothing worse than being overwhelmed by too many options when you're stressed, so having a loose plot to follow is great. However, I will say that if you don't steal the storage from Oma's, you will regret it because otherwise you will only have 16 storage spots until you get a chest recipe, which could take a while. And no storage equals more stress, which is what we're trying to avoid here. Storage aside, Hoko Life is a very cute and cozy game, and should be able to distract you from your own problems, even if it's only to realize that this game does have a few special quirks. Also, don't be afraid to sleep through some days. Sometimes it is required to progress through, without days just roaming around and waiting on the plot to progress. As a bonus, one way you could relax while playing Hoko Life is by designing your own furniture, which is honestly pretty cute. Number 8, My Time at Portia and or Sandrock. Technically this one is 2 different games, but since My Time at Portia and Sandrock are in the same series, I think I can get away with putting them in the same section on this list. Canonically, Sandrock is set after Portia, just in case you were wondering, so that you don't accidentally play them out of order. My Time at Portia is a cute game with a huge world to explore and tons of interesting character interactions. Similar to Stardew Valley, you start off on an old farm, although your father's farm in My Time at Portia is a lot more shabby chic than your grandpa's in Stardew. There's quest progression in My Time at Portia, a theme that is recurring in both games, and you can even romance characters if you're bored. Not to mention that within both games, you can also work on building up a really nice home base, since the primary goal of both games is to rebuild the towns and your own property. My Time at Sandrock is technically the more difficult successor to the original My Time game, but it is still super fun to play through, and in fact, some people actually enjoy it more, which is why I felt the need to include it as well on this list. My Time at Sandrock is newer, features some new gameplay and better graphics of course as well. Overall, both are very cozy, but not stressful for the most part, and perfect to play after a long day to unwind. So if you own either, or even if you don't, I hear that they're on sale quite often, and you should think about playing them soon. Number 7, A Little to the Left. I have some mixed feelings about A Little to the Left, but overall it is a very cute and cozy game, all about organizing. And as someone that loves to organize when stressed, doing it virtually is extremely calming to do as well. So if you're like me and you love to clean or reorganize when you're stressed and you haven't already, then I will introduce you to the best game for that. A Little to the Left is a round by round game where you put everything into its perfect spot. It's a puzzle game which may not be the most relaxing option on this list, but it is extremely satisfying, which can be relaxing. As a bonus, the daily puzzles are always a lot of fun. Some people don't love cozy farming games when they're stressed and prefer something more puzzle-based, which is exactly why A Little to the Left is the perfect choice. It's just challenging enough to take your mind off your troubles without hopefully adding to them. Personally, I love doing the daily puzzles just before bed so that I can wind down for the night. As an extra bonus, there are multiple solutions for the regular puzzles, not the daily ones as much, but the regular puzzles in A Little to the Left normally have multiple different solutions to them, which can be really fun and challenging as well. Nothing beats an organization-based puzzle in my opinion, except perhaps the gameplay of the next option on my list, which is number 6, Unpacking. Unpacking might just be one of my favorite distressing games to play, so don't think less of it just because of its placement on this list. The only reason why it's lower than the others is simply because there's less of it available to play through, and once you play through it once or twice, it's not as fun as the first time. However, if you haven't played it before, or it's been a long while since you have, then it might be kind of fun to do. Unpacking is pretty much exactly what you would think from the title. A game entirely based around one person throughout their entire life, unpacking their new houses and or apartments through multiple settings. There's recurring items, some storyline, and overall a very relaxing vibe that you're just not going to get the same vibes from any other game. There's also 25 Steam achievements if you want to have the added bonus / satisfaction of completing those. You can do that as well, which would probably be pretty fun, and I must say I have done it myself to de-stress before, and it worked pretty well in my opinion. Unpacking is overall one of the best games in the relaxing department. It's cozy as well as relaxing, which makes it exactly perfect for this kind of list. That brings us to our next game, which enters us into our top 5 cozy games to de-stress. Number 5, Traveler's Rest. Traveler's Rest is my number 5 on this list for one reason. It's Stardew Valley if you ran an inn. The plot of Traveler's Rest is actually story-based now. You're not just someone running an inn like you were originally when the game first launched in early access. You're a part of the Fellowship of Tavern Keepers and you have a mission. Although the game is still in early access as of me making this video, they have tons of coming updates on their roadmap, which I'll have linked in the description below for you to check out. Currently, the game has multiple different mechanics already added in, such as cozy farming, running your tavern and expanding it, and exploring the town. In terms of ways to de-stress, there's nothing quite like Traveler's Rest for having a daily purpose of tasks to do, without it seeming overwhelming and like an endless to-do list. You can grow your own crops for brewing drinks and cooking food, or you can just buy the supplies from the folks in town, but be warned you'll need a lot of coins for that, and you'll need to stock up for the days that the booths are closed. This game is relaxing and so much fun that it's bound to take your mind off of whatever stress is going on in your real life at the moment, at least for the duration that you're playing anyway. Personally, I like planning things for my tavern in advance, but that's just me. And as a bright side, although you can pass out in Traveler's Rest, there's very little downside to it as of right now, except for the fact that you wake up a couple hours later than you should, unlike with my next choice on this list, which does actually make things harder for you if you happen to run out of energy or health. Number 4, Dinkum. Welcome to the game Set Down Under. This game is the ultimate town building, cozy farming, and mining experience that at its core mechanics is a slightly more difficult and Australian, of course, version of Stardew Valley. I have to say, if you're trying to de-stress though, maybe don't try out fishing in this one for the first time, or take on the alpha version of an animal. Or if you're like me, even a wary mute. Those things hurt a lot more early game than they probably should. There's quite a lot of NPCs in Dinkum, all of which you get to convince to move to your little island and expand your town slowly over time. From there, you can get really creative with designing areas for your island with themes, or even just pretty locations and a mismatch of items in game. It's really all up to you and what your creative energy is saying. A lot of people also compare Dinkum to the original Animal Crossing, Littlewood, and Cozy Grove, so if you've ever tried any of those out, then you might like or even love Dinkum. Dinkum is a slower moving game than some of the others on this list, so if you're the type of cozy gamer that likes things to be more realistically paced and slower to get to the quote unquote end game, so to speak, then Dinkum is definitely right up your alley. If you're a little more likely to want to move through things faster, then maybe consider one of my top 3 options instead. That's not to say that Dinkum is boring, because it's definitely not, but it is more like 100 plus hours in one save before you get to the easy part of the game. So if you're not looking for a challenge to distract you and you just want to chill out and relax from your daily stress, you might want to save Dinkum for a different day. But if you haven't tried it out yet, even if it doesn't sound that relaxing to you, do put it in your cozy games to try folder, because it is super cozy and a great long-term game to enjoy. Now it's time for my honorable mention, Ship Inc. Although I haven't yet played Ship Inc. personally, I think this game, from what I have seen of it, would be perfect for de-stressing from a long day because it's very similar in gameplay to Unpacking and a little to the left. It's colorful and cozy, while having a pretty direct quote-unquote mission to accomplish that isn't super difficult, I don't think, once you get the hang of it. As an added bonus, it is a little repetitive as far as diversity in gameplay goes, which after a stressful day might be kind of nice to just play and zone out while you're having some fun. I know I personally like to listen to music when I play games like these and unwind without having to deeply focus on what I'm doing too much. Another honorable mention would be the Moving Out games, but I haven't actually played those fully either, and I haven't seen much of them, so I have less reasons for it other than they look relaxing and along the same vein of cozy work as Unpacking. But if you think the repetitive gameplay would drive you up the wall, and you haven't yet heard a game that you want to try out from this list, don't worry, I still have my top 3 choices, and one of those is sure to garner your attention, if not all of them. Number 3, Luma Islands. My top 3 are almost all interchangeable in terms of which goes where, because I love all 3 of them almost equally. Luma Island is one of the first games that I've played outside of Stardew Valley that's had me thinking that I could play a couple thousand hours of this game and still be as happy as a lark. Luma Island is a really cozy game with tons of different professions to explore within the gameplay, and features comforting visuals and even ASMR, which I do have videos of. Shameless plug, I know, but it's true, I do. And I also have an entire playlist of Luma Island content if you're not convinced to play it yet. But back to hyping up the gameplay, let's talk professions. Whether you're wanting to test out brewing because you love Traveler's Rest, or being a treasure hunter because it's really cool, there's a lot of different ways to enjoy the gameplay via all of the profession options and therefore de-stress from your day. Luma Island also has started to offer its own free DLC, which I think is also pretty cool. One of the major features of Luma Island that also makes it incredibly unique and different from its competitors like Stardew Valley is the Lumas. Lumas are sort of like super cute and actually helpful pets that like follow you around, and you can use their Luma essence that they give you for taking care of them in your profession's recipes. As a bonus, there's tons of different kinds of Lumas you can collect, so that's one really cute side quest for you right there. It's almost like catching a bunch of different Pokemon. I could go on and on about how great Luma Island is for a really long time, but I'll stop now so that I can ramble about all the great aspects of my next choice on this cozy de-stressing list, which is the one and only number 2, Fields of Mystria. This one is a game that came up quickly in my rankings, and in fact was not on this list at all until recently. Fields of Mystria is an amazing game that's all about farming and growing relationships while helping the townspeople of Mystria. You start off in a humble farmhouse just outside the main town of Mystria, and can slowly or quickly, depending on your game style, work your way up into bigger and better opportunities on your farm. Fields of Mystria has an art style that's cozy and so aesthetically pleasing that it's award-worthy in my humble opinion, with anime-style drawn character portraits and cute pixel graphics everywhere else. They also recently added pets to the game in a recent update, which just adds to the cozy vibes of it all. There's quite a bit of storyline already in the game, and tons of customization, starting in the character creation screen. Fields of Mystria has one of the most detailed character creation setups that I've ever seen, with tons of options to create your character and the cutscenes that drive the storyline of the game, cinematic. The characters / NPCs in Fields of Mystria have backstory, lore, personality, and for pixels, I've gotta say, they're pretty good looking as well. Like, seriously, can I have Celine's wardrobe, Rena's hair care routine, and Adeline's face card? I'd even just settle for one of those options actually, especially the wardrobe, because you guys know that I'm fashion obsessed. Speaking of, if you want a new game to be obsessed with, to de-stress while playing, or even just one to test out for when you're bored on the weekends, Field of Mystria is one of the best games I've played, especially considering that it's in early access currently. It is the first game that I've actually thought might eventually rival my ultimate cozy game to de-stress with, which is number 1, Stardew Valley. You probably saw this one coming earlier on, since I kept mentioning it like practically every game on this list, but Stardew Valley is one of the best games of all time in multiple different departments in my cozy gamer opinion. I could go on and on about it, and honestly I do across multiple videos on my channel. It's like the Downton Abbey of cozy farming games. It's like literally perfect. But if you don't know anything about my number 1 pick, allow me to give a short but very impassionate speech about this relaxing farming simulator. Stardew Valley, which was, fun fact, made by one person, is the ultimate cozy experience, perfect for any stressful day to unwind. If you're starting a new farm, you're instantly thrown into being able to create the character of your dreams, whether that's you or your own original character that you make up in your mind, and that is completely up to you. There's tons of customization options, and once you get through the first cutscenes, you're on your new farm for the first day in what will be, hopefully, one of your favorite games of all time. Stardew Valley has many options for ways to play, whether you're focusing on perfection, just farming, mining, fishing, or any other option in the world, down to just romancing your perfect partner NPC, or befriending good old Linus. The reason why this is number 1 on my de-stressing list is because Stardew Valley was, in my opinion at least, made to help distract you from stress and relax. There's stressful aspects to every game, of course, but Stardew is one of those games that even when it stresses you out, which isn't very often, you're still having a ton of fun. And there's so many challenges you can play in it to spice things up if you've played before and you're getting a little bit bored of it. This is one of those games that until you've played it and really took your time not trying to do everything as fast as a professional might, you really can't appreciate just how fun it is. So next time you're stressed out and you want to play a super cute, super cozy, pixel art style game wrapped in adorable perfection, try out Stardew Valley or even give it a second chance if you've played it before and didn't get the hype. I promise it'll be worth it, because if you love cozy games, you will definitely love Stardew Valley, especially when you're stressed and you need a super fun game to unwind. So that's all 10 of the coziest games to play when you're stressed. I hope you found a game that you'll enjoy, and let me know in the comments if any of them were new games to you or your personal favorite games to play when you're stressed, even if they're not cozy, and I'll see you in the next one.